The New Orleans Saints did not spend this offseason acting like a team hoping to survive the NFC South. They moved like a team tired of being ignored. The offense changed shape fast. The quarterback room found its face, and the defense kept enough bite to make this whole thing feel serious. Kellen Moore now has speed, size, power, and comfort around Tyler Shough, and that is where the story starts to feel dangerous. Because last year, the Saints were searching. This year, they look built. Look at the names around Tyler Shough now. Chris Olave still gives him a clean route runner who can win early. Jordan Tyson walks in as the big first-round weapon with star pressure on his shoulders. Travis Etienne Jr. brings juice to the backfield. Davon Vele gives the offense a bigger target outside. Noah Fant, Juwan Johnson, and Oscar Delp make the middle of the field harder to defend. Then there's Bryce Lance, the rookie deep threat hiding in the middle of this whole rebuild, and he might be the one name people are sleeping on way too early. But this is not only about offense. Brandon Staley still has Chase Young, Brian Brissy, Carl Granderson, Justin Reed, Jonas Sanker, Julian Blackmon, and Kool-Aid McKinstry holding the other side together. That matters because a young quarterback does not need a perfect team. He needs a team that protects him, gives him answers, and keeps games from slipping away. The Saints now have that kind of setup. And the real twist is this: Tyler Shough is no longer walking into the season as the question mark. He is walking in as the answer everyone has to deal with next. Last year, Tyler Shough walked into the New Orleans Saints season with everybody waiting to see if he could handle the job. That pressure was real. The team was searching for answers, the offense needed a steady hand, and every mistake felt louder because the whole fan base wanted direction. Then something changed. Tyler Shough stopped looking like a temporary fix and started looking like the player the building could rally behind. What made it powerful was not one lucky throw or one clean drive. It was the way Tyler Shough grew into the moment while the season was still moving fast around him. He took the job after Spencer Rattler could not lock it down, and suddenly the offense had a different pulse. Chris Olave had a quarterback who could hit timing routes. Juwan Johnson became a real middle field answer. Alvin Kamara had a passer who could keep defenses honest. The rookie label was still there, but the panic started to fade. Now the whole setup around Tyler Shough feels different. Kellen Moore is still guiding the offense. The system does not have to be rebuilt from zero. The language stays the same. The rhythm gets faster, and the trust has more time to grow. That is why this season carries a much bigger feeling than last year. Tyler Shough is not fighting to prove he belongs anymore. He is being handed the keys, and what the Saints placed around him next is where this story starts getting dangerous. Kellen Moore did not walk into this season with the same old puzzle. The New Orleans Saints handed him pieces that fit the way he wants to attack. Tyler Shough no longer has to force the ball into tight windows and hope one player saves the drive. Now the field can stretch wider, the middle can open faster, and defenses have to think before they crash down. That is where this offense starts to feel different. Not louder, not flashier, just harder to read. The scary part is how many answers Kellen Moore can put on the field at once. Chris Olave can separate before the corner even settles his feet. Jordan Tyson brings that big rookie pressure every defense has to respect. Travis Etienne Jr. gives the backfield a burst that turns small gaps into real damage. Noah Fant and Juwan Johnson can pull linebackers into uncomfortable spots, while Oscar Delp gives the Saints another rookie tight end who makes heavy sets feel less predictable. That is not random spending, that is a plan. And tucked inside all of this is the problem nobody wants to deal with. If Tyler Shough gets rhythm early, Kellen Moore can start calling the game on his terms instead of reacting to pressure. One drive can feature power, then motion, then a shot over the top, then a tight end slipping free while the defense is still guessing. That kind of offense makes average players look useful and good players look dangerous. But every plan like this has one condition: Tyler Shough needs time, and that puts the spotlight right where the whole season might be decided, on the offensive line. The New Orleans Saints can load the offense with weapons, but none of it matters if Tyler Shough is running from pressure before the play even opens. That was the quiet danger last season. Drives did not only die because of missed chances, they died because the pocket got messy, timing broke apart, and the offense had to rush into survival mode. Now the front looks stronger, heavier, and more settled, with Kelvin Banks Jr., David Edwards, Eric McCoy, Cesar Ruiz, and Talise Fuaga giving Kellen Moore the kind of line that can change the whole rhythm of a game. The biggest part is not only protection, it is comfort. Tyler Shough does not need a perfect wall. He needs that extra breath, that one calm second where Chris Olave clears his break, where Jordan Tyson stacks a corner, where Travis Etienne Jr. slips into space, where Noah Fant forces a linebacker to turn his hips. That is when an offense stops looking tight and starts playing free. David Edwards gives the inside more force. Eric McCoy gives the line its voice again. Cesar Ruiz adds experience beside him, and the two tackles give the edges a chance to hold up when the ball has to travel. This is why the Saints' hype feels different from empty offseason noise. They did not only buy names, they fixed the place where games usually get exposed. If the line holds, Kellen Moore can call deeper shots, heavier looks, and faster counters without begging the quarterback to save every snap. And once Tyler Shough starts getting clean time, the whole field changes. That is when the deep ball comes back, and that is where one hidden piece of this offense might shock the league. The New Orleans Saints lost a real spark when Rashid Shaheed went to Seattle, and you could feel it in the way defenses started playing them. Safeties did not have to panic as much. Corners could sit tighter. The field felt smaller. That is a bad place for a young quarterback, because once a defense stops fearing speed, every throw underneath gets crowded. Tyler Shough still had the arm, but the offense needed someone who could make the back end of a defense nervous again. That is why Jordan Tyson changes the picture right away. He gives Chris Olave room to breathe, and that matters more than people think. Olave does not have to carry every big moment alone now. Jordan Tyson can pull coverage, win outside, and force a defense to choose where the help goes. Then Devon Vele brings size on the other side, which gives Tyler Shough a different kind of answer when the throw is not clean. Suddenly, this receiver room does not feel thin. It feels like a problem with layers. But the name sitting in the shadows is Bryce Lance. He is the rookie who does not need 20 touches to scare a defense. One clean release, one safety step in the wrong direction, and the whole play changes. That is the kind of speed that bends coverage even when the ball does not go his way. If Kellen Moore uses him right, Bryce Lance becomes more than a depth piece. He becomes the threat that opens space for everybody else. And the best part is, he was only one piece of a draft class where every pick seemed to have a job. The New Orleans Saints did not draft like a team throwing names at a board and hoping one sticks. This class feels planned. Jordan Tyson was the headline because a first-round receiver always gets the spotlight, but the real story is how every pick connects to a need. Tyler Shough needed more firepower, so the Saints gave him Jordan Tyson, Bryce Lance, Barian Brown, and Oscar Delp. That is not random. That is the front office saying the offense needed more speed, more size, and more ways to stress a defense. Then the trenches got their own answers. Kristen Miller gives the defensive front a heavier body next to Brian Bresee, and that matters when the Saints want to keep games under control instead of getting pushed around late. Jeremiah Wright brings guard depth for an offensive line that cannot afford to fall apart if one starter goes down. Those are not the picks casual fans scream about on draft night, but those are the picks that keep a season from cracking in November. That is where smart teams separate hope from structure. The back end of the class is where the Saints added speed and flexibility. Lorenzo Styles Jr. brings defensive back range after making a rare position switch in college. Barian Brown gives the return game instant danger. TJ Hall adds corner depth with a chance to grow into a real role. And sitting right in the middle is Bryce Lance, the rookie who still feels like the sneaky swing piece of the whole group. The draft fixed more than one problem, but the wildest move of the weekend was not even one of these picks. It was the trade that brought Tyree Wilson to New Orleans. The New Orleans Saints made one of those moves that does not shake the room right away, but it keeps sitting in the back of your mind. Tyree Wilson was not brought in to save the whole defense alone. That would be too simple. He was brought in because rare traits are hard to find. And when a former top pick becomes available for a price that low, smart teams ask one question: what happens if the right staff finally gets him in the right role? That is where Brandon Staley and Bo Davis matter. Tyree Wilson does not need the defense built around him on day one. He needs clear snaps, clean rules, and a rotation where he can attack without carrying every passing down. With Chase Young on one side, Carl Granderson still bringing pressure, and Brian Bresee pushing the pocket from inside, Wilson can become the kind of extra edge piece that turns good fronts into stressful ones. Not because he has to be perfect, because the Saints finally have enough bodies to let him grow without forcing it. And then there's Cameron Jordan. That name still hangs over the whole defensive room, because leadership matters when a player like Tyree Wilson is trying to restart his story. Jordan has seen every kind of tackle, every kind of double team, every kind of season. If he is in that building, even in a smaller role, the young edge group gets more than another pass rusher. It gets a standard. The trade already raised the ceiling, but the final version of this defense depends on whether the Saints finish the job around him. Because the NFC South race is sitting wide open. The New Orleans Saints are stepping into a division where nobody gets to relax. The NFC South is not weak, but it is wide open, and that is why this offseason feels so important. Atlanta has Michael Penix Jr. trying to lead the next step. Tampa Bay still has Baker Mayfield and a battle-tested core. Carolina has Bryce Young pushing for consistency. But the Saints are different now because their case is built around balance. not one lucky storyline. They have the quarterback, the coach, the protection, the weapons, and the defensive pieces to make every division game feel like a real fight. The full schedule dates are not out yet, but the opponent list already tells the story. The Saints get Atlanta, Tampa Bay, and Carolina twice, and those 6 games can decide everything. That is where Tyler Shough has to show he is ready for control, not survival. That is where Kellen Moore has to turn all these new pieces into points. That is where Brandon Staley, Chase Young, Brian Breesy, Carl Granderson, Kool-Aid McKinstry, Justin Reed, Jonas Sanker, and Julian Blackmon have to make the division feel uncomfortable every single week. The door is open, but nobody is handing it to them. The Saints have to take it. And that is the part that makes this season feel bigger than normal. Cameron Jordan still matters. Chris Olave still matters. Alvin Kamara still matters. Those final decisions can turn a strong roster into a serious division threat because the foundation is already there. Tyler Shough no longer has to carry a broken setup. Kellen Moore no longer has to build with missing pieces. The Saints now look like a team with a real path. And if this new version clicks fast, the rest of the NFC South will find out quickly that New Orleans is not chasing the division anymore. New Orleans is coming for it,